So what would you do if your neighbor put something up on their property you consider an eyesore?
How about if they made you pay for it? Dan Noyes of ABC 7 News I-Team is here to shine a little light on a battle over solar panels.
Well, Dan and Carolyn, in an effort to save money, a North Bay School District installed solar panels at its schools, but it's where the district put the panels that has neighbors wondering why they didn't have a say in this project. When Ann Phillips walks to get her mail, she's reminded of what she used to see.
Beautiful, beautiful view.
But now this is her view. Rows and rows of 11-foot-tall solar panels.
Aliens landed in the field, and so they're keeping them there inside this hideous cyclone fence.
The land is owned by the Sonoma Valley Unified School District. According to Phillips and her neighbors, the solar panels went up without warning and without their input.
I feel violated. I feel like our whole neighborhood has been violated.
The first thing that we did is we looked at every campus and we identified those areas that we could put the solar in.
Deputy School Superintendent Justin Free says there are a number of reasons the district put solar panels at its schools.
We're looking to obviously save funds, to be more green and a little bit more energy conscious.
Free says the solar panel project will save the district $26 million over the next 25 years. But Phillips says the district's savings are the neighborhood's loss.
So we were not aware that this solar field was going to go in at all.
The school district claims there was notice given about the project and plenty of time to voice concerns at a public hearing held in January.
What notice was there for that meeting?
Well, for all of our public meetings, we post it in several locations. We put ads in the paper.
The I-Team picked up the 2 editions of the Sonoma Index Tribune where the district placed the notices. We found them deep in the paper in small print. They were published on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Neither notice says where the public hearing will be held.
I really feel like we went out of our way to ask people to come to these meetings and to give feedback, and it's unfortunate that the neighbors right across the street in this particular project didn't realize that that's what was going to be talked about.
It makes me sick to my stomach to look in that direction. I'm sorry.
Nancy Ligon lives behind Adele Harrison Middle School. This is the new view from her second-floor window.
They make the rules. They tell us where they're going to put things, and there's no regulatory commission or anybody telling them, have you thought about that? The schools are on their own, and we can't complain.
The I-Team discovered that a school district does not need local permits to build on its property.
What permits did you need for this? City, county permits?
No, there's a process to go. The school districts use the Division of State Architecture we refer to as DSA.
So it's the state?
It's the state.
Our responsibility is strictly for the structural safety of a building, or in this case, solar panels.
The Division of the State Architect spokesperson Eric Lamoureux says DSA can't control where the school district puts ground-mounted solar panels unless there are safety concerns.
We're not involved in siting at all. We don't have any jurisdiction that allows us to oversee siting of a school construction project.
This is democracy. What you've written down here is democracy. What has happened is not democracy.
Neighbors are left to voice their concerns at school board meetings.
I'm concerned about what is in the soil.
Tear out the panels, tear out at least the front half of them and move them back.
Put them on a roof someplace.
One after another, telling the board how the solar panels affect their lives.
I think you're missing the point.
I don't think we're missing the point at all. I think that we're getting the point, and you know, we really our first and foremost is looking at how we can educate our students and our future leaders.
School Board President Nicole Abate Ducaro says it comes down to dollars and finding new ways to generate money. She says the school system will use the solar panels to power its own facilities, and any leftover power will be sold to PG&E.
We're going to have to cut millions and millions of dollars from our budget. This money is going back into our general funds. So that is going to help our budgets.
Ducaro says the district plans on working with neighbors to find ways to mitigate their problems. One plan is to use landscaping to hide the panels.
They have to come up with something where we can get our view back.
Phillips says she doesn't want the solar panels covered up. She wants them lowered or moved. And she says the problem could have been avoided if neighbors were included in the planning process.
You say that you want to be good neighbors, but you want to be good neighbors now.
To me, a good neighbor would have been someone who knocked on my door before January. Hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. How do you feel about that? That didn't happen.
Yeah, well, in hindsight, I think we would have done it differently.
And after we started asking questions, the district agreed to lower the solar panels across from Phillips' house. She says she'll believe it when she sees it. A spokesperson for the solar industry was upset the story might put them in a bad light. She told us this is not the way that most companies do business, most solar companies. And we want to hear from you with a tip for our next investigation. Contact us through abc7news.com or call 1-888-40-ITEEN. Dan, Carolyn?
Well, it's not only an eyesore, it's got to hurt property values, I would think.
Well, and that's their other complaint. You're right, Dan, that they look out there, they see this instead of their view. They say they've talked to agents already who have said their property values have gone down because of that field.
Makes it less desirable.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
a big change for sure.
Right. Thanks, Dan.